Oh, we want to talk about a quinoa.
Quinoa is actually not from the Far East, and I'm not a racist, but I do know a thing or two about this seed. Pronounced quinoa, not quinoa, you ignorant American. Quinoa is actually a pseudo-cereal, meaning it doesn't fit in with the grains and it doesn't fit in with the grasses. It's the neglected cereal stepchild. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't love it because it's got so much to offer. A pseudo-cereal is a plant that produces fruit or seeds that can be used as grain. What you think of when you think of quinoa is the small little seeds. That's what we eat. Now the quinoa plant actually grows up to 7 feet high, and it's a big, robust plant. The quinoa plant grows in higher altitudes. We don't really grow them here in America yet. It's coming. I know Colorado, you're thinking about it, aren't you? Colorado loves that stuff. Quinoa primarily grows in the arid mountains and valleys of Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Chile. And in South America, they've been eating quinoa for 5,000 years. So just because you walked down and saw an ancient grain cereal does not mean that this is some new concoction. Quinoa has actually gained quite a bit of popularity because of its macro and micronutrients. This stuff is packed with a lot more than most grains you're gonna find. If we take 1 cup of cooked quinoa, which is a lot of quinoa, you're only looking at about 223 calories. Only about 4 grams of that come from fat, 39 grams of carbohydrates. But we have a lot of fiber, about twice as much as other grains. And 1 cup of quinoa has 8 grams of protein. Now, in the micronutrient category, we have phytonutrients, which have been shown to fight inflammation. We got a good amount of B2 and magnesium, which are most known for their headache relieving properties. But the best part about it is the amino acids. Quinoa has all the essential amino acids, which means it's a complete protein. Essential amino acids are the ones that we can't make. Our body can't make them, so we have to bring them in from outside sources. Food. Most grains actually can't make this claim. Amino acids are the building blocks to protein. They give cells structure, they help transport nutrients, and they influence the function of your organs, your arteries, your tendons, and your glands. Quinoa is gluten-free. So how do we use quinoa? Don't eat it raw. That's what I expected. Tastes like a communion wafer. It's terrible. Sawdust. Anyway, you can use quinoa anywhere you use rice. By swapping them out, you'll actually get a little bit more of a punch out of that carbohydrate. Quinoa can add substance to things like pizza crust, protein bars, quiche. A lot of people cook it and eat it cold on salad, or it can be used as a binder in like bean burgers or meatloaf. We can use it for breading, we can grind it into flour, you can buy flour. I even read you could put it in smoothies, but I don't do that. So there's hundreds of varieties of quinoa, but there's 3 main ones. There's white, red, and black. Cooked, the white is fluffy, creamy, crunchy, and somewhat nutty. It's a little ricey, and there's no real outstanding flavor. That's a cool thing about quinoa though, is whatever you mix it with or season it with, it really adheres to those flavors and takes on the characteristics of them. The red tastes pretty much the same, but some chefs like to use it on cold salads because they think it holds its structure better after cooking. Now black is an earthier flavor. It's slightly sweeter than the white. Black's the real rebel of the quinoa bunch. Black's edgy, man. Once you go black, you never go... I don't know, I've never had the black. When you cook quinoa, it's actually pretty easy to cook. It's a ratio of 1 to 2. 1 being quinoa, 2 being the water. So if you use 1 cup of quinoa, you use 2 cups of water. If you use a 1/4 cup of quinoa, use a 1/2 cup of water. I think you get the idea. You're a smart kid. You bring the quinoa and the water to a vigorous boil. Once it starts boiling, you reduce the heat and let it simmer covered for 12 to 15 minutes. Now that's the white. The red cooks a little longer and the black cooks a little longer still. You cook it until the texture is whatever you want it to be, or you can cook it until the little spirally thing comes out. That's actually the germ of the seed. That's the seed coming out into the world right before you eat it. Next time you're in the grocery store, pick up a little bag of quinoa, swap it out for rice in your next recipe. The macronutrients are great, the micronutrients are great. It's a superfood.